Dear people of Trinity, let us begin with prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. On top of everything else, now this. How many of you have asked this question in the past week? How are we going to get through the craziness and chaos in the world and now in our own community? There's the shock of the news and this roller coaster of emotions. For my Friday reflection with you all today, I turned to the Gospel according to Anne Lamott and to a post she wrote in March. And then I learned that my dear friend Susan Russell also turned to that post and offered reflections, and I am borrowing some of hers, her wisdom, as I am from Mike Kinman, the rector. So I thank them for their wisdom. Anne Lamott writes, where do we start? We breathe, pray, and we stick together. Right foot, left foot, right foot, breathe. I wish there were a website we could turn to called What It Means, What is True, What Do We Do? Where do we even begin today? What do we do when all of a sudden things get even worse and closer to home for our Trinity community and we cry out after everything? Now this? Well, there are pieces of truth. They may be broken, but we can gather them up and we can see the light through them. Doesn't Leonard Cohen write, there's a crack in everything, that's how the light gets in. The truth is, this world is violent, and we are vulnerable, and we are frail, and we are misled. But we know, the truth is, that love lives. Love is the most powerful force for change in the universe. This journey is hard, but we're good at hard. We people of Trinity, we're better than we think. We've gone through much by the grace of God, and we can do it again by the grace of God. Many questions we have. How do we do this walk together? How do we reach out and love one another when we need to shelter in place? We just stick together in our confusion and in our cluelessness, and we love one another. One of my favorite stories from Scripture is the one we're going to be hearing this Sunday, the road to Emmaus. Of course we're hearing it just when we need it. Mike Kinman writes about this story. The disciples on the road were not faithless, they were confused. So much had happened in no time. They'd been on a roller coaster of emotions. Jesus doesn't chastise them for not believing the women's account, but for getting the larger picture. So Jesus paints for them that larger picture of God's salvation, of God's people. The road to Emmaus reminds us of the need to walk together and listen for the voice of Christ, experience his presence among us, to see Christ in the most unexpected ways and places, and to see how our stories are all part of God's epic love story with us all. As people of Trinity, how can we be a community who recognizes that our hearts are burning because we are in the presence of Christ, Christ's love, and Christ's voice is calling us in this time, despite the darkness, despite the despair, despite the sense of betrayal. What can we do at this moment? Perhaps most of all, we can be gentle to ourselves, kind to ourselves, and kind to one another. We can remember those who are suffering around the world, and we can reach out and help, even as we know we need help ourselves. Right foot, left foot, right foot. Breathe. Remember, a few weeks ago, I decided to share with you that I was going to teach you a social distance dance. I warned you that I would do this, and today is the day. Be brave, be open. Who knows? It may feel a little bit like your journey. Our journey. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. Right foot, left foot, right foot. Breathe.